Are you eating those Sour Patch Heads?
I am eating these Sour Patch Heads, and they're pretty good, dude.
It's amazing how many iterations of Sour Patch can exist. These are just the heads, right?
Just the heads.
All right, let's jump in.
Let's jump in. This week, let's talk Dr. Chip Webb. Had a really good meeting this week to prioritize for Chip content production. So something we've been talking about for a while. We got the website up. We had the Women's Expo this last week, and an area we still really want to be able to scale up with Chip is social media, content, really sharing his expertise, his experience, but also the experience of his patients, the veneer clients, the Invisalign clients. But part of what we've been really trying to do with Chip is find a way to make more lifestyle-driven content, not just kind of your typical dental practice. Here's before and afters, still having a mix of that, but really trying to showcase, the lifestyle of the patients. And I think we've come up with a really good strategy that we're going to be rolling out, and we'll share, as that comes to fruition. And I think the biggest thing is really focusing in on that process. We're going to start batching creative with Chip, where once a month we will go to his office, have a whole production kind of schedule and timeline, and shoot for 2 to 4 hours, just a bunch of different pieces of content that then we'll have a whole month's worth of creative assets to draw on and use for social throughout the month. So that's something we're really trying to hone in and focus on here at Honey House is batched content. Chip's a busy man.
Yeah.
He's got, patients, he's got a family, he's got a lot of responsibilities, and trying to figure out what to post every single day is hard for anyone.
Yeah.
Us included. And so what we found is being able to schedule one day out of the month where we can focus on a list of creative ideas, of concepts, of talking points, of interviews with patients, condense that all into a single day. That way Chip can, do what he needs to do.
Yeah.
That's way we can all be dialed and focused and ready to roll. A lot of us know we need to be doing social media, be sharing our expertise, sharing content every day, but it's hard to sit down and just every day create something. So this way it really leverages that time and also creates kind of an accountability for Chip, for our clients, where it's like, cool, now I know I've got the content, now I can consistently post every day. So
that meal prep mentality.
No doubt.
It's like if you're making all the meals Sunday night and then the rest of the week you don't gotta think about it. It's all just there in the fridge, ready to go.
Yeah. Which is, a lot of that we've learned from Create Forward. Doing the podcast, batching that creative. We shoot 4 episodes a month with Ward. He comes in, we crank out those episodes, and then you've got a bucket of creative.
Bucket of goodies.
Ready to roll.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so also with Create Forward, are we jumping to that?
Mm-hmm.
We are working on using Monday. Monday.com, I'd seen ads about it, and I hadn't really started using it since working here with Sean, but it's really awesome.
Yeah.
You can do a lot with it. And
Shout
out to Monday. We're building out board there with basically organizing the vertical clips.
Yeah.
That allow us to see what platforms they've been posted on, if the virality of it, if it hits and takes, it's like how can we take that clip and repurpose it and reuse it across the other platforms to see if we can make it go as well. So basically just building a skeleton of organizing the vertical clips that will allow us to just get more honed in on the efficiency of posting those and sharing those and how to use those.
Yeah. What I love is like the upfront organization, but a lot of times with social, it's like there's tons of organization needed to get the posts out, get it scheduled, get it sent. But a big piece that a lot of brands miss is like the feedback loop.
Yeah.
Of like, okay, what did well? Now, how do we apply that to the next piece of creative or the next piece of content? And so I think with this process, having it in Monday, being able to like check when a post kind of takes off and then see that visually in the Monday board, click in there, see, what about that creative worked, why, when was it posted, and now try to replicate that, build on top of that, leverage that across other. Can we chop it up in a different way and repost it and see how it does?
Yeah.
Can we post it on TikTok in a different way than we post it on Instagram and get more results? Yeah. So now we're really in that, like, now that we have the consistency with Create Forward, now it's in the refine that creative, really dial in, okay, what's working, what's not working, how do we improve, these clips, how do we improve the posting, the scheduling, with short form video content. Things are changing every day. The algorithms are constantly trying to keep up with each other. So oftentimes it's hard to really track exactly what it is, but we're trying to develop a system where we can be on top of it. When we see something working, how do we implement or take that feedback and mix it back in going forward?
And it's, now that I think about it, it's like music, movies, TV shows, we didn't like invent this approach. Like totally. They've been doing this forever. That movie hit, that movie worked. Mm-hmm. How can we change that, change the characters and make it into something new? And the tricky part with the short form content is you got to move quick.
Yeah, so much volume, and something that works literally today. You could do what you think is building on that, and you get 7 views on that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, okay, well, so but I think it's putting us in our position in the best possible position to get that reach, to really provide value to people that watch the clips, and then are able to then come and find the full podcast. Yeah. Let's talk about Honey Haus.
Honey Haus.
We've got
the mothership.
We've been working on a lot of things through what we just described with Create Forward, a lot of like process items, really trying to level up with our current clients, as we shared with Chip, really aligning on what are those things that are going to grow with Create Forward, how are we going to continue to increase the reach and growth, and then with Honey Haus, really refining a lot of our process, the offerings that we are providing to brands, and really landing on a big core of what we're offering moving forward is this idea of batched content.
Batch.
The batch. Like a batch of cookies.
Hot batch.
The idea of whether it's in the podcast format, whether it's in a format of educational content, of entertaining content, of informative content, really being able to help leverage time, output, and accountability across creative output for brands, leaders of companies, entrepreneurs. And what that means is us really having to be dialed on our process so that, a brand, a business leader can just show up on the day that we're shooting, do their thing for, 4 to 8 hours, and then we handle the rest.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking right now, like, as we're figuring out this process and thinking about it, this isn't going to solve completely because, there's still things that are going to come up. Things might happen in the news and pop culture, and that kind of, so you want to still be on top of that.
Yeah.
But creating 30 days of content that is like staple things that your business or your brand is associated with.
Yep.
If you're a running shoe company, then like let's shoot some content talking to people who've run marathons and used your shoes and used your product, and that's stuff that you can always throw in there. Mm-hmm. So just thinking around the strategy of helping brands and businesses do that is we'll give you those assets, but also you almost got to stay on top of what's currently happening too.
Yeah, I think it also gives that freedom. Like if you're not having to think every day, oh, I need to create content. I got to think of a new idea or come up with something. Batching the content, and whether you work with us or you do this on your own, take a day, take all the ideas you have, take a day, whiteboard them all out, create a mood board, list out, videos that are working for brands that are similar to yours or like yours, list out what you feel your brand could accomplish in content with the resources that you have, whether it's podcast format, sitting and just talking into the camera, selfie, green screen. List those out. List out, the inspiration for that content, and then plan a day where you can just literally go down that list and crank out 15, 25, 35 videos in one sitting, rather than having to think about, hey, today I need to create a video. Okay, what am I going to create?
Yeah.
That freedom of, cool, I've got those 35 pieces of content that I shot last week. I've got that in a bucket. We have things scheduled. We have that fun foundational. Now you have that freedom to respond to a moment in time,
Yeah.
A viral moment that's happening that your brand can really jump on top of and participate in.
And you I'm thinking too, like you use it as, you schedule out those 30 posts they hit in the middle of the day or something once a day. And on the days where you just can't quite get yourself to do anything, at least you have that one thing going out, right?
Yeah. You got consistency, you'll learn so much by batching creative, getting content out consistently for 30, 60, 90 days. Now you have so much more data and insight to work with. So that's, I think, probably the big focus here at Honey House right now is really dialing in our podcast offering, our batch creative offering, and really helping brands hone in the creative assets they need and how to do that in a day so that they can focus on building their business and executing on their business.
Oh, dude, this just reminded me. We need to talk about Brian Niven.
Shout out to Brian Niven,
Yeah.
homie. He's been on this grind of super creative, super talented dude. We'll do a whole deep dive on him next week. But
someone who's putting into practice some things that we were strategizing and talking, and it's been a slow burn, but it's starting to. I think he's had some
videos
wins.
pop.
Yeah,
he's doing some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
So, a big takeaway for this week and an invitation to all of you is this idea that I learned from a business coach of mine, Townsend Wardlaw, about commitment versus desire. And how when we commit to an outcome, when we commit to accomplishing something, it becomes kind of like a black hole, all-consuming of things that need to happen for us to accomplish that. If I desire to become healthy, I may want to go to the gym or want to work out or eat better. But if I'm committed to becoming healthy, those decisions will take care of themselves. I'll be committed every single day to doing what it takes to become healthy. And that's something that we are practicing here at Honey House. We have today sat down as a team and wrote out what our 90-day commitment is, which is to be the hub for creation.
Get it.
Here in Arizona.
Manifest it, dude. Get that commitment out there.
Putting out in the world that we are committed to being the hub for creation in Arizona, which means growing and scaling Honey House as an agency and these creative services. It means breaking ground on an expanded co-working studio creative space that I've been on this for 10 years now, wanting to create this version of a workspace that can enable brands, creatives, startups to really connect and build their brands, but also a hub for conversations, workshops, events where we can just gather together and build dope products, brands, and content.
Yes,
And also committing to a culture that is relentlessly creative and aggressively kind.
Yeah.
That's the commitment.
Amen, brother.
We're making it happen.
Making it happen.
The power of committing to something is that now every day we're gonna, in our stand-up meetings, talk about this commitment, and it really streamlines the process of decision fatigue or over planning because it's like, I'm committed to making this happen. I'm just going to do the thing that I need to do to get closer to that commitment versus, hey, what do we, this is our goal. Okay. What objectives, what things do we need to do? What tasks, all that still needs to happen, but being committed really just creates this energy that's different. So if you have something that you've set as a goal, you've desired it forever, you've been wanting to accomplish it, just changing the verbiage and saying, I'm committed to this.
Yes.
Write it down, tell it to 5 people every day, the lady at the grocery store, the friend at work, the person, you run into that you haven't seen in forever, text, an old friend. Sharing that commitment will improve your commitment to that commitment as well. So it's really cool already over the past week or two as I've been implementing this in my personal life. Some really cool things have been happening. So that'll be your kind of hack and challenge for the week to try.
Love it. Good stuff.
See you next week.
Thanks for joining us on the Weekly Wax.